Speaking of checking back to make sure they were doing the right thing, we have come to our main event of the evening. Adam Cole and Britt Baker in the mixed tag against Chris Jericho and Saraya. And remember, I laughed when they shot the angle on the pay-per-view to come back with the more intriguing match on free television. Now that I've seen this match, I don't. It had more appeal to fans to hear mixed tag match in their imagination than they would have enjoyed it when they actually saw it. Because they're 2 for 2 now. The Falls Count Anywhere single match sucked, and this was not good. Not good. Tell me what you thought first.
I mean, there's a lot to say. I mean, we could talk about Adam Cole and AEW so far, and we could talk about this match, and I think they kind of tie together. Britt Baker, too, at this point. I mean, Jericho, it's a broken record, and we've talked about it, and if Jericho works with the right person, there'll be a good match. If Jericho doesn't work with the right person, things tend to fall apart. The women did not look good in this match. I mean, it went viral, and then AEW pulled down the clip, apparently, off Twitter, of Britt and Saraya hitting each other with the forearms.
Yes, and the bend over and do-si-do and wait for it and all the other stuff, yeah.
This wasn't good. I mean, the one positive, like you said, people seemed to be a little into the idea of the mixed match. The fans were more into this than they were that awful match at the pay-per-view. San Diego was more reactive than Vegas was to all of this, but they need to do something different with Jericho, because I think even AEW fans maybe finally burned out on him, like we've been saying was going to happen. But Adam Cole, like, there's nothing that's done him any favors in AEW. Like, you just keep waiting for something, some sign of something. And listen, maybe him and MJF going back and forth on the mic is it. Who knows? But the in-ring has not been there. I mean, it was Orange Cassidy. He's had a bunch of injuries. We never really got to see too much with the Undisputed Era there. We never got to see him work too much with the Bucks because of all that. Those were his friends. You got to think that style-wise, they would get the best out of Adam Cole for what he thinks he could do. But this Jericho feud has been terrible. The angles have been terrible. The promos, even though, look, Jericho could talk, and Adam Cole can talk. And Britt, when produced right, can talk. But none of what any of them have said about any of this has mattered. They did a big angle where she got beat up. Doesn't really matter in the general scheme of things. I think the AEW fans are ready for this to move on.
Well, I was ready for it to move on, and I'm going to move through it quickly because just not even the angle, but just evaluating it as a match. Jericho is doing the Vader arm whips bad now. He's conserving every step he can in the ring. He grabs a guy by the arm and just kind of shrugs his shoulders, and they're supposed to run all the way across the ring. But the guys started, obviously the guys and the girls can't interact unless it's the girl beating up the guy. So they did one point just early in the match. Well, not early, after the first break or whatever. Tony Storm and Ruby Soso came out and attacked Britt on the floor so Sheeta could run out with a kendo stick and all of them just fight off. And you never see him again.
And Sheeta looked like she was having a party. I mean, I get sometimes you may have to smile when you do something and you can't fight it. It happens to me when I'm recording this show. But she looked like she was having the greatest time out there swinging that kendo stick.
And after all that heat that they got on Britt Baker, well, what's her name? Goddamn Saraya got on Britt Baker, and then they have the run in and they all fight off, and then Jericho is taunting Baker and Britt just slaps him and nails Saraya and gives Cole a flat-footed cold tag. Not just a cold tag, but a flat-footed cold tag. Just walked over there, reached out, and had both feet on the ground when she tagged him. While they were in picture with the collision dates graphic on the screen. So they built the heat on Baker, and then she makes her own comeback on both the opponents and gives a flat-footed cold tag while in picture. And then Adam Cole made a comeback on Jericho, and then they just laid down and sold so that Britt could make a comeback on Saraya, even though Cole never tagged Britt in. I think they forgot because she was supposed to be. And then Saraya went for a superplex, and Britt knocked her to the mat, and she landed, took the bump, and then rolled back over and squirmed into position to lay there for Saraya or for Britt to come off the top. But Jericho's begging Britt, don't come off the top. And then, for the first time ever in the history of wrestling, a heel sacrificed himself. That's the babyface spot. Dusty Rhodes loved that spot. The heels would be ready to come off the top rope on a helpless babyface, and his partner at the last second would jump in and throw his body over the helpless babyface and sacrifice himself. The heel would land on both of them, and the guy on top would cushion the blow. Well, this was the babyface in the piece, splashing both of them, and then got a 2 count on Saraya. And then they tagged Adam Cole back in, even though she never tagged in to begin with. She tagged him. And, I mean, then Adam went for the Panama Sunrise, but Jericho caught him in the walls of Jericho, and Britt Baker puts her Michael Jackson glove on and puts the lockjaw on Jericho, but Saraya breaks it. Then they had another simultaneous cold tag to the girls, really fake forearms. That's what you were talking about that was clipped. Saraya dropped Britt Baker right on her head with a DDT. Jericho brought the baseball bat in the ring in front of the referee, who did nothing as Jericho swung at Cole and missed, and Cole super kicked him. There's the bat fumble. The referee standing looking at it. Why did you need the bat to begin with if you couldn't use the bat without the referee seeing it? And then Cole and Britt hit a double super kick, and Cole hit his knee on Jericho, 1, 2, 3. So now Jericho is trying to prove to Tony that the 10-year contract he signed him on, where he'll be 62 before it's over, will lead to great results because he's willing to put over all his talent. And that was about that.
Another Jericho feud where no one comes out of it for the better. Adam Cole does not come out of this for the better. Chris Jericho doesn't come out of this for the better. They got to do something different, and I don't know what else there is to say about all this. Britt Baker, we talk about AEW's women division problems. Britt Baker is not very good in the ring.
And again, 3 years ago when they were starting out, dentist, professional woman, attractive, decent in the ring, we thought. You know, push her, make her something. I was all for it because you're starting from scratch. What do you got to lose? And then they made her a heel, and that first week was abysmal because they left her twisting the wind. She'd never done a heel promo, but then she gets the promo. But the promo came early. The work has not come, and it's late.